Tony D and Little Joan, and this. Oh, it's Little Joan. Let's get you in the shot. Oh, there she is. This is screenwriter's tips or writing tips. I don't know. I've had an hour of sleep, and I couldn't find any trailers. So I'm gonna do one more video, and then I gotta crash out. Smash like and subscribe. Thank you for smash liking and subscribing. Check out my books, The Pineys, books 1 through 13. You have been checking out The Pineys. I'll give Joan a treat later. It's been a rough night. I'm working on 1 hour of sleep today, so that's the reason. But thanks to all who came out to Level Up Entertainment and put up with my sleep-deprived babbling, and bought a book or two of The Pineys. I really appreciate that. I hope you enjoy them. That was the last signing of 2023. Join me tomorrow night, starting at 9. We're going to midnight. We're going to ring in the new year with a New Year's Eve live stream. So that's going to be fun. And then January 4th, I'll be at the Hamilton Historical Society for the first event of 2024. So it's all coming together. So tonight I thought I'd talk just briefly about the number one thing rookie writers have to get over. The number one problem with rookie writers. Now, I've talked about fan fiction. You should stay away from that. That is poison. But the number one thing you have to defeat is your own sort of preciousness about your writing. A lot of rookie writers, when they start out, every sentence, every word is precious to them, and that you have to get over. It's really important that you get over it. There's several ways to do that. The old writing saying is you have to kill your darlings. Kill your darlings, and this means you can't be so precious as to be able to edit your own work. One of the things that makes you good with that, that will make you fearless, is improv. I always recommend for writers to take improv classes, because what improv teaches you to do is grind through ideas one after another, throwing the next one away, going with another one, heightening it, and then throwing it away and going to the next thing. If you do it enough and do it right. So you need to be able to do that, because if you're so stuck on an idea, on a scene, a piece of dialogue, a character, and it's just not working, that blind spot will ruin your story. It'll just ruin it. You have to be able to say, you know what, this isn't going anywhere. What improv teaches you to do, and I've talked about this before, it teaches you to heighten no matter what. Because in improv scenes, in order to make the scene good, even if it's against the character's interest or nature, you must heighten whatever the core theme of the scene is. So the very sort of basic improv scene, which would be an exercise I would sometimes do with classes, or if I had a group I was directing, was crazy man, straight man scene. And the idea would be that the straight man would try to act as normal as possible, while the crazy man would get an emotion and slowly tick it up. Every exchange would tick it up just a little more, just a little more. So if the emotion was anger, you'd start out the least angry you could possibly be, and then slowly kick it up with every response. Get angrier and angrier, no matter what it was. And then it was up to the straight man to be as normal as possible, while also presenting obstacles to the actor playing the crazy man to try to. So, for instance, if the emotion was anger, you would try to set the scene in the least angriest place, right? So it would be, okay, you're going to do a scene in, a chocolate factory that gives away chocolate for free. And I don't know, I'm pretty punchy, sorry, 1 hour of sleep. And the person playing the crazy man, if the emotion was anger, would have to get angrier and angrier, no matter what the other person offered. And that is a challenge in writing, too. So I'm working on book 14 of the Pineys, and I came up with this bit in the beginning of the book, and I said to myself, I can't just abandon this bit. It has to come back at the end. And I finally found a way to bring it back. I won't give it away. It's a little side. It's nothing about a legend or anything. It's just a little side comedy bit. And you have to do it in threes. Right? So the characters do it 3 times. And in this case, it's Lewis and Milton doing a shenanigan, I'll say. And they do it the first time and they sort of get away with it. The second time they kind of get confronted, and the third time it nearly gets them killed. So, and that's what makes it funny. One, 2, 3, heightening each time. And if I couldn't have done that, but I've been doing this a long time, so I would have come up with something. And that's another thing improv gives you the confidence to say, I'll come up with something. No matter what, you have to incorporate what went before and heighten it again. So in writing, you can't be too precious to say, okay, I don't want to do that. It'll make the characters look weird. It'll make me look stupid. People won't laugh. You kind of got to get past all that. You have to also be confident enough in your own abilities that you're going to make this work. And if you're following, I hate to call it a formula, but if you're following the appropriate steps, you're heightening, you're revealing things about the character, you're moving the story forward, the character's going on a journey, they change, and then you get a big reveal at the end, then you're doing your job, and you don't have to worry because people will like the story. For me, too, the other element is I always have to mention local towns, local folklore and ghost stories and stuff. The more famous ones, the better. But ones that are set in South Jersey. If they're not set in South Jersey, I'm kind of not interested. So, and as I've written the Pineys, you may have noticed, each time a book comes out, I'm jamming in even more stories, more ghost stories that I've found over the years, and that's been a ton of fun. It's been a ton of fun. So you have to get over your preciousness and just write the damn book. A deadline helps. Stephen King says a novel should be written in about 2 to 3 months. Certainly my novellas get written in that time. They have to, or else I won't be able to get 3 out in a year. So just forge ahead. Just forge ahead and blast it out. Worst case scenario, you'll go back and rewrite stuff and tweak it here and there. But get it down first. Because what you discover after you get it down, you discover things. Once you see the entire length of the project and the beginning, middle, and end, you can then start to go, oh, okay, here's what I need to do in the beginning now. Now I need to go back and rewrite the beginning and mention things to foreshadow things that are going to happen later in the book. And then when you do that, it all comes together. It makes a lot more sense. Or the foreshadowing, people call you, oh, you're a genius. You mentioned that in the beginning. I barely noticed, but I noticed something was mentioned, and then later it happened, and I was like, aha! People love that stuff. They love the book ending. They love something that starts one way and ends the way it started. And you'll see all these little techniques, but you can't see it until you see the whole piece. And once in a while you get to the end of the whole piece and you go, oh, this is a piece of garbage. Let me just dump it in the trash and start completely over. That can happen. You shouldn't make a habit out of it, but, and by putting a deadline on yourself, hopefully you won't rewrite the thing to death, because it is possible to write things until it's obliterated. Don't do that. Don't think too hard. Just understand you're going to make mistakes. You're going to make mistakes. People are going to read it and go, oh, this didn't make any sense. And then you go back and realize, oh, gosh, I wish I'd changed that. But, the more you do it, they say you got to write, 1,000 pages of crap before you get to a good page. So if you look at it that way, just get the crap out of the way as quickly as possible. Just keep writing. Keep writing, keep thinking, and don't fret too much. Don't worry about other writers and how they did it. You're different from all of them. Everybody's different in their process. My process is a little wacky. Some of the things I need wouldn't help you. And it depends on where you are, too. Like, early on, the kind of stuff that helps me now, like a deadline helps me now. Like, I know when I have to get books out, and that gets me motivated to write. In the past, those deadlines, when I started out, they were too nerve-wracking. Those would wreck me. Oh my God, this is due. Oh God, I can't write. I can't think of anything. So it depends on where you're at as a writer as well. If deadlines aren't doing it for you, then try something else. Maybe you need to relax more. Maybe you need a distraction. Maybe you're writing too much. But definitely put some kind of, goal in and get it done. I told one guy tonight at the event, I saw like 4 different aspiring writers at the event tonight. I said, it's akin to an athlete that runs marathons. You don't start running a marathon your first day. You build up to it. So as a runner, you're going to go out, you're going to stretch, and then you're going to do a short run, and then next day you're going to do a slightly longer run, and each day you're going to build it and build it and build it until finally, as you're gearing up for the marathon, you're going to practically do a marathon, so you're in shape to do it. It's very similar as a writer. The writer I talked to tonight says he tries to do 1,000 words a day, and that's a good pace. And if you can't do 1,000, do 100. If you can't do 100, do a sentence. Because the next day, hopefully you'll do 2 sentences. And then the next day, hopefully you'll do 2 paragraphs. And then the next day, hopefully you'll do 500 words, then 1,000 words, then 1,500 words, or whatever. And it builds like that. Stephen King, apparently, according to this other writer, said he does 6 pages a day. That's not that's no big deal to someone who's writing regularly. I've done 6 pages in a day. I'm at the Pineys 14. I'm at that point where I think I did 6 pages last night, in fact, or yesterday. Over the course of the day, I did a total of about 6 pages. It's not that hard when you've been doing it a long time. It really isn't. It may sound that hard. It is daunting when you're starting out, when you're on your first project. But if you write every day, I guarantee you'll be up to 2,000 words, 3,000 words. You'll be cranking it because you'll just get used to it. You'll just get used to it every day, and the words will come. And again, don't be too precious about those words. One of the things I do is I tend to overuse certain words. And this is one of the reasons I use a program like Grammarly to check my, rather than stop and get out look up a thesaurus and figure out a new word on the spot. I'd rather just keep writing and then go back later and look for different words for the word that I'm overusing this week. And I've done that a bunch of times. I've done it so many times, I've actually done it like in a paragraph I use the word, and in the very next paragraph I use it again, which is ridiculous. You have to mix up your sentence structure and all that. But don't get too precious. It's not that important. You're just starting out. If it turns out what you wrote is pure genius, then good for you, and you nailed it the first time. But just forge ahead and write your book. And, there's no law that says you have to publish it once it's written, but get it out of you and be able to start rewriting it, because that really is the process where you start to tweak and make it good. Anyhow, I've got to go to bed. I'm not kidding around. I've had about an hour of sleep. It was a rough night last night. So this is my only other. I did 2 videos. You can go to Odysee, Bitchute, and Rumble for the news blast. That's all I can do. I'm just fried. There's no trailers. There's no way I'm going to do a Hollywoke hot take today. I just cannot. So tomorrow, live stream will be big. At least 3 hours. We'll start at 9. We'll definitely go to midnight, and and we'll have a good time. Ring in the new year with Tony D and Little Joan. Should get her a little hat, and I get myself a horn. Anyhow, I'm going to sleep now. We'll see you tomorrow.